Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here as we get an update on Saturday's severe weather threat. Now, it's kind of interesting. These are partially responsible because of the remnants of Laura and a cold front, but it kind of feels like a setup of a spring severe weather event more so than a tropical system, and I'll explain why, because it is an interesting setup. So here's our tropical depression Laura. It's still technically a depression. It's likely going to weaken to a remnant low later today. You could see the circulation itself is actually lifting northeast, so it's moving up into Kentucky. But what we're watching is this trailing bands of showers and thunderstorms that are on the southeast side. So while the center itself is not going to track really anywhere near the Carolinas, it's actually going to be way up here. This trailing band of moisture kind of is going to expand and move into the Carolinas. So as the cold front comes in from the north and west, we're going to see this band of thunderstorms expand, and that's why it starts to stretch out and look more like a severe weather event. So the area to watch, if you want to see what's heading our way for tomorrow, really late tonight and tomorrow, one of the areas I'll be watching is this area ahead. So the pink is area where we have some significant tornado parameters, some of the parameters for tornadoes. So today's risk for severe weather is basically right in here. That's going to be lifting in this direction, and that's going to put the area right in here in a risk tomorrow. So the area to watch is actually down here. Don't look for the swirl. That's going up here. It's really going to be this band down here. Now, saying that, there isn't a lot of wind with this system. I'm putting the wind speeds up here. There are some gusty winds with the storms, but down here, there's not a ton of wind. Most of the winds are fairly light in that area, so I think it'll be breezy tomorrow because of the front and that, but I really think it's more about severe weather that we'll be watching tomorrow. And just to show you the track of the remnants, you can see it's a tropical depression through about 7 p.m. tonight, and then it becomes a remnant low by tomorrow morning. It should be up near Beckley or Charleston, West Virginia, and then over near Delaware, the Delmarva Peninsula by 8 p.m. Saturday. So tracking pretty far to the north. Down to the south, though, we'll have that trailing band of showers and thunderstorms. So let me show you the severe weather outlook for tomorrow. You can see our entire area is either in the low or medium threat. The medium threat includes a huge chunk of our area, but notice the orientation of the medium threat is in here up to the northeast. I think this is the area right in here from I-85 up to Greensboro, up towards the Raleigh area. Those are really the areas that will probably have the highest risk of seeing severe storms tomorrow. And just to show you the threat level, winds are still the highest risk, but there is an elevated tornado risk tomorrow. There's really no way around this. I think the one thing that saves us from even a higher tornado risk, honestly, is the timing, which could be in the morning, which could help reduce our tornado risk just a hair. And just to show you that tornado threat, this is as of right now, the chances of seeing a tornado within 25 miles of any one point. 1% in yellow. Once we get to this 2%, that's how that's a little bit above what we normally like to see, and something we'll pay attention to. And notice how that is mainly north and east of Charlotte to Statesville to Rockingham. So we'll keep a close eye on it. That's right now. This can change based on how things unfold. Remember, we're talking about thunderstorms, which can evolve and change as we go into tomorrow. But that's the area I'm kind of targeting right now. You can see the wind threat. Obviously much higher, 15% versus 2%. So winds obviously our biggest concern as we go into tomorrow. So let's take a look at some of the Futurecast data here. I'm going to pop it up and we're going to show it real quickly. I'm going to pause it a couple times in here. So we'll start tonight. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Again, not a huge deal. You can see them moving through the area. I'm going to stop this at about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we could have some strong, isolated to scattered thunderstorms tonight. But watch what happens as we go into the overnight hours. This thing starts to move in from the west and 3, 4 in the morning, which, isn't ideal. We don't like to see any strong storms overnight, but that's a cooler part of the day. That might actually help us a little bit. But the one thing I would caution you is tropical systems, because they're so warm and humid, and that's the kind of atmosphere we'll have over us, can tend to produce some strong storms even at night. Probably won't be a lot of lightning. That's the thing. These storms don't have a lot of lightning with them. You can see by tomorrow morning, right around sunrise, we've got strong storms moving through the mountains. And it really looks earlier than even yesterday that the front or the main line of storms will move through. Look at the time up in the corner of the screen here, 10 a.m., moving through between 10 and 11. Then notice how as it goes to the east, it actually looks like it might be getting stronger over in this area, because we're getting towards the time of day where things are heating up. But notice what's going on back here. It's starting to dry out a little bit. And I'll go further into the future. This is noon, and then the afternoon. just an isolated storm and it's kind of quiet. So, that's a pretty quick hitting line. That's why I said it. This is not a huge rain event. This is an all day rain, no washout. It really feels more like a severe weather event that we would have in the spring where we're tracking, severe thunderstorms. That's really kind of more of the setup here. Than a tropical system. Moves through pretty quickly. Just to show you some of the parameters, I'll show you that significant tornado parameter. Again, nothing jumps off the chart. This is actually tonight, a little elevated there in the mountains, a 1 in Boone. But for the most part, you're not seeing anything too crazy. This is tomorrow morning. There's a little bit of an ingredient for tornadoes there, but it's tiny. You see that little elevated area up towards Virginia, West Virginia, and northwestern North Carolina. And then tomorrow afternoon, we stop at 4 o'clock. You could see a little area maybe up towards Greensboro. But overall, the ingredients aren't super high, and they don't need to be super high for a tropical system. And to show you the helicity tracks, basically where we could have rotating storms, there's really nothing on here that jumps off at me. I mean, that's not much of anything. In fact, that looks really low considering there's a 2% chance of a tornado. So again, I don't think this is going to be a huge tornado risk, but I would be cautious tomorrow as we get into the day. If the timing of this system arrives later and we have more time to heat up, then these storms will have more of a tornado threat. But if they arrive in the morning, the threat will probably remain low, but still there. And as we go through the day, conditions could improve pretty dramatically. The thing to watch for is that if we get a QLCS, and what I mean by that is if we get a line of storms that look squiggly like this, we could have embedded tornadoes in there. If it's more a straight line, that's going to be just straight line winds. So the way that the storms will look tomorrow will be very crucial to what we see move through. Let me update. I'm going to do a quick little update here live as I'm showing you this. I'm going to put some model data on here real quickly, and I'm going to use the short range NAM. I'm going to do updraft helicity, just to see if we see any rotational tracks moving through here tomorrow. So these are rotation tracks just to show where storms, not necessarily tornadoes, but where storms have rotation within them. And man, this is a completely different model. There just isn't a lot. You see today and tonight over Tennessee and Alabama. Actually, 1 or 2 near Charlotte we'll have to watch even tonight. But tomorrow, the threat doesn't look all that crazy. Let's look at the short range guidance here. I'm going to pump this up here. And this only goes into tonight. So just not a lot there. So that's good. I mean, it's good to see that, but certainly something I'll be watching tonight through tomorrow. So stay weather aware tomorrow, especially for the first half of the day. Grab the wcnc Charlotte weather app. Of course, I'll have updates starting at 4, 5, and 6. And of course, if anything changes, I will post something immediately and let you know.